So you are about to watch a banger of an episode with my man, Matt Lionetti. He's going viral on Instagram. He has some of the funniest real estate videos I've ever seen. He's authentically himself. He just launched a podcast, and there are so many nuggets he drops throughout the episode. Only thing that we ask is if you do not hit the like or comment button or somehow engage, this video will shut down. YouTube runs on the algorithm, and we need you to support us so we can put more content out there. So we would definitely appreciate it. And just to give back to you, if you have any specific guests you want on, fire me a DM. We'd be happy to connect with you guys. Or if you think there's some content that you want, let us know. This channel is here for you. Enjoy the episode. Welcome to the Prime People Podcast, where we cover all things that got us to where we are today, our team building strategies, the marketing and sales tips that we've learned through thousands of transactions, productivity tips, ways to really just hold yourself accountable to accomplishing what you want to accomplish, and all things content creation, personal development, and not to mention we have some of the best guests on the planet. Okay, so let's go high level now. We're live on Facebook. Everybody that's on the inside track, you're welcome to ask questions live in the Q&A. We do these live every Thursday at 2 p.m. live on my Facebook page. And it's fun because I like getting the questions from the guests to people like Matt. I'll actually tee it up and I want you to introduce yourself, Matt. But first, I'll tell you how you dropped on my radar. So my mentor, Ryan Serhant, featured you as Agent of the Month. You had the slickest black jacket on I've ever seen, sitting in a chair. I looked you up. The first video I saw was you talking about this area and how amazing it was and how quiet it was. And then a train went by behind you and I started laughing because I do video for my listings and I've been there. So, cue it up. Let me know how you even got on Ryan's radar and what you do and where you do it.
Yeah. So I sell real estate in Durham and Toronto. And I was always on teams. I've been doing it for just over 4 years now, always on teams. So about a year and a half ago, I went solo and I just wanted to market things differently. So I always had these ideas from the start and everyone just told me like, no, you can't do that because, people they're not going to take you seriously. It's not professional. So then I just, when I went out on my own, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. And it's either going to go terribly wrong or people are going to like it. So had to take that risk, I guess. And in terms of Ryan, I just, last February, I did a video. My buyer just bought a home and I did a video where I walk around his house, like dressed as Freddie Mercury. So like,
I saw that one.
because I have the mustache.
Yeah.
So I did that. And then that's the one that got Ryan's attention. I posted that in the Serhant. They did like a write up on it for me and shit. So it was pretty cool. And then since then, like, it's just, he's called me on the phone. Like he called me like 2 months ago and was like, I love your videos. And like, he's the reason I got into the industry. So it's so weird how it all kind of comes full circle.
And he's a real dude too, right? Like when he called you, like when I met him, again, I had preconceived notions of him like a lot of people do. And I threw those aside because it's like me, you and him could go for lunch tomorrow. And it's not like he thinks he's better than anybody. He's an operator, right? Which you are as well, which is why I love these conversations.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, he's a super down to earth dude. So we've had him on the podcast and it's, he's a nice guy. And it's weird to like meet someone who you've only ever seen on, TV and Instagram.
Yeah, it's funny. He was on a Clubhouse earlier today. I happened to jump in the room because he was with Frank Leo, who you probably know from Toronto as well.
Yeah.
And they were just talking about high level brokerage, right? So I hopped on and I was chatting with them. But he said that he's like, how often do you call like Kim Kardashian, expect her to pick up the phone? But he's actually more accessible than a lot of people think.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Ryan, if everybody starts calling you after I said that. So give me your backstory then. I know you do these incredible videos. We'll get into that in a second. Like, how did you even become a real estate agent in Durham? What's your Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider story?
So I was a touring musician before. I was making no money. And I was like, shit, I got to figure something. I loved $1 Million Listing. And I was like, well, I don't know. That looks pretty good. So I'll just try that. It was really nothing. It's weird. I was in Florida and I was in a taxi and the taxi driver was telling me about real estate and how he's bought like 5 houses in Florida. And that was like, I went back home and started it was that simple. And I was like, yeah, There's no, everyone says like they got into for the architecture and all that bullshit. I just wanted to make some money, you know?
Yeah.
So when I was,
I love it, man. It's funny when you sit down and you go over like business planning. People are like, I want to offer the best service in my area. You just hear the same things over and over, but
same thing.
you're a real dude. So you took a first step forward. What was the first step that you took? So you're in the cab. The guy tells you about real estate, got an interest in it. How did you go about getting into the industry?
Yeah. So I just, went home, researched it a bit. I was like, yeah, I'm going to take my course. And everyone was like, you know, you only make money if you sell houses. I was like, yeah, well, like I'm a touring musician. I make no money now. So that sounds pretty good to me. Like, to just, you know, make money when you sell houses. So I looked at, researched some of the courses. A friend of mine, her brother-in-law he's a big realtor in Toronto, and I met up with him, and the rest was kind of history. He was like, "Do your courses, you can join my team, and then we'll go from there." So I had a mentor right out the gate. So it was good, and I wouldn't change that. I recommend everyone start on a team because you don't know what the hell's going on. They don't teach you anything.
No, it's scary, right? Like, what was the market like when you got in the business? Was it crazy? Was it slow?
Yeah, so it was like right before they I think it was right before they introduced the stress test.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember
So it was
that.
like I had a couple good months, and then like there was this, like everyone was terrified.
Mhm.
So it was weird, and it was I mean it was good to go through that so early, because then I knew how to deal with some adversity right away. When people get into this, like I don't know about you guys, but here you can list literally anything and it's selling. You don't have to do anything.
It's insanity. Yeah, we'll definitely get into the market because again, it's people have very short term vision, and I can tell you, there's probably a lot of agents that are going to be writing a book saying, "Hey, I got my license during COVID," and you're going to see a lot of similar stories because
Oh
it's
yeah.
challenging time, right? They're getting their licenses all of a sudden lockdown. We're like a year into it now, and people are still like guys like you and I always trying to find a way to adapt, right? I think that's a big part of the story of who you are is you always kind of found a way to adapt and you didn't overthink things. Before we went live, you were talking about how you just launched the podcast, right? And this
Yep.
is where I really want to showcase to the audience that it is possible. It's not like, you and I are sitting here, we're better than anybody else. You just fixed your eyes on something and then started walking towards it. We're talking gear and equipment. So, what inspired you to launch the podcast?
So Broke Agent and I, we're friends. Broke Agent's like the biggest real estate comedy page
Yep.
in real estate. Um, we're friends, and we've been talking about collabing for a while. And I kind of do stuff on his page, and he shares my shit. And then we've been talking about it, and then this just kind of came up. We're like, why don't we interview these like big time agents, and we like the contrast of like me, because I'm very, I'm not luxurious, and I'm not like I bring a whole kind of different style to the way I sell real estate, the way I market real estate. So we like the contrast of like me talking to these like luxurious monster agents. And
Mhm.
we wanted to make it, we just thought there was a place for us in the real estate podcast world, more unfiltered, have a bit more fun with it, still try and provide value. So literally we talked about it beginning of December, and we're like, let's get these. And it was never like, oh, like would it, like I wish one day we can get this guest and this guest. We
Sure.
literally right off the bat we went for the biggest people we could possibly find. So we have Jordan Cohen, who's our first guest. He's number one real estate, number one Remax agent in the world, and then Ryan Serhant's our second guest. So right
Mhm.
out the gate, we figured if we could get some big guests right away, we can really leverage that to get more big guests, as we go on. So
Yeah.
that was it.
Yeah, again, you had a plan, right? I think that's the biggest part I wanted to showcase is you didn't really overthink it. I think getting those guests makes a difference. Actually, you should link up with Jazz. He's in Don Mills area. He's a good friend of mine, and he did the same thing, right? He kind of started out of the gate, just started figuring it out. Now he does it from his iPhone or from his Android phone on a stack of books when he shoots the podcast. So, like,
Yeah.
talking here, if anybody's thinking of launching a podcast, how complicated is it to actually launch a podcast?
Yeah, it's not, there's zero overhead. Like, that's what we were talking about. We have like we're hosted through Anchor. It distributes it through every, Spotify, Apple Music. We film them too, so we have them on YouTube.
Mm.
Um, but there's no like, you can literally start, like you said, with a phone or a computer. You don't need I mean, we just went and wanted to go a little bit extra, to make our quality better, but you don't need it to start. Like you really don't. There's big podcasts who don't have anything. So um, I would just go for it. It's a lot of work, I
Mhm.
would say. Like there's a lot of time that you have to spend doing it because you have to book the guests and schedule everything. And then you have to do some research on the guests that you have. You want to be respectful to them. You want to ask good questions, stuff like that. So it takes time, like out of your day. So you're not just going to do a couple episodes and blow up and start making a bunch of money. So, but
Well,
there
I
are
don't think
ways to
it's about
monetize.
blowing up. Again, I don't think it's about blowing up. Like
Mhm.
watching you, I get excited and I jump into the convo to over talk to you for a second there, which I didn't mean to. But
Yeah, no,
like everything that you do, you're not overthinking it. I don't see you as a clout chaser. You're doing it because you're trying to gain the algorithm and gain followers. Like you're just being yourself and it translates, and it's a long game, right? Anybody that's found any success in the podcasting world, they just put their head down. Like Rogan, for example,
yeah,
he's done podcasts on his actual iPhone sitting on an airplane. I'm sure you've listened to those, and
yeah.
quality is not amazing, but the conversation is. Same with your content. So I do want to step into the mind of Matt Lionetti. And when you did your first video that was completely out of the box, like what was it and what was the inspiration for you to really do something different?
Yeah. So yeah, I totally agree with that. I've always been a um, content first, quality second. If your content's not good, you could spend $10,000 on a video. No one's gonna watch it still. So I didn't have, when I started doing these videos, I didn't have, and still the quality is not great. Like, I'm just because I got to pump them out. So every couple of months, I'll hire my videographer. But I bought a camera now. I don't know how the hell to use it, but I bought it, so it kind of makes the quality better. And the first one I did, so I got off the team. I had a listing. It was a really shitty listing, like really, really bad. And I was like, I need to like, I don't know how to market this. So I was like, okay, I'm going to try something. I had my wife film me on my iPhone. It's called the Shut the Front Door video. And what it is, it's just like, I keep almost swearing in it. So I'm like, yeah, like if you don't like it, you can shut the, and then it like cuts and I'm at the front door. I say front door. And then I keep going on like that and almost swearing.
But you're breaking the pattern. You're getting people's attention because they're like maybe doing something else. And they're like, what did he just say?
Exactly. So that's what I wanted. It's always about, because property videos now, no one watches them. So I had to figure out a way, like, how are people actually going to watch this? So I got that listing, I put it up, did the video. It got like 10,000 views in the first day, and it sold in the first day. So in about 8 hours, I had 3 offers. Two of the offers came from the video because
Wow.
they called me and they said, we just saw your video. We showed it. So I knew that. And then after that, it sold over ask, which wasn't in that type of market where things were selling really over ask.
Mhm.
So then after that, I was like, you know what, there's something here. So then I just kind of kept exploring, and you can see like the evolution of the page. It gets riskier, it gets edgier. I like being on that line of like, should he say that? Should he not say that? Because I like, it's about grabbing attention. It's about starting conversations. And that's what my Instagram is. It's a big commercial.
Mhm.
Okay. It's not necessarily meant to be seen as professional. I want people to start a conversation with me. That's all I'm looking for. And that's what happens. And now, I have a pipeline this year that destroys all my other years. And 90% of that's from Instagram.
People have no idea. I think they see social platforms, whether it be Clubhouse, Instagram, TikTok. I was in a room the other day where somebody was asking the question, is TikTok even going to translate to any business? Meanwhile, I have people that in our world, you and I know, that have, 3 million view videos that are like literally getting $250,000 plus in commissions from TikTok and these platforms, while the world just is very close-minded on how things are done, right? Let's talk listing videos, what you just said. Bang on. I mean, everybody has the same dry video, same dry tour. You're almost just burning the money in this market if you're not
Mhm.
adding value or creating something that is entertaining and informational to watch. And you do a good job kind of balancing that line where you're still giving info about the property in a way that matches your personality and draws your ideal client. Do you have a background in comedy or something along those lines? Like, where does the humor, that side of you come from? Because it's baked
No,
into you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. No, there's no, a lot of people ask, like, are you just like an actor? Like, are you a real agent? I'm like, no, I've never acted, never done stand up, anything like that. I love, I love comedy. I love comedy movies, stand up comedy. And I just have always had this idea. I just like being creative. So,
So in that world, who inspires you? Like what comedians and whatnot do you really enjoy
um,
watching?
I love Sebastian Maniscalco. I'm Italian, so
Yeah, yes,
he's a
go.
big one for me. Um, and like, yeah, I just Burt Kreischer, Tom Segura, that type of stuff. I love like Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor, Robin Williams as the older people. So, and yeah, I just grew up watching comedy specials and comedy movies with my dad. My dad's hilarious. So,
I
I
see
don't know.
you were influenced. Did you grow up in Durham area or were
Yeah, I
you
grew up in Ajax.
really? Okay, so it's
Yeah.
funny. My cousins live in Ajax, and I met Tom Segura in Columbus, Ohio. Actually, the one day I was coming out of the hotel, and he was loading his car, and it's funny because he like rolled his window down a little bit to make sure I wasn't a crazy person because it was like
Yeah.
1:30 in the morning. I was like, "Jeans, what's up, buddy?"
Yeah.
We had a good chat. But
He's
it's funny.
awesome.
The reason I asked that question was again to inspire the audience to bring in people that inspire them into the work that they do, because I think that's one of the biggest signs of respect that you can give to the people that you aspire to be like is not necessarily just copying them because you think, oh, this is what I have to do because this is what's going to get me the views. Going back to authenticity and just being you, it's actually going to make you way better at your job because the
Yep.
right people are going to end up in your pipeline, and it's going to filter out the people that just don't match your personality, right?
100%. And I keep talking about this because a lot of people will reach out now and they'll be like, Matt, I want to do creative videos, but I'm not funny. And like I always say, you don't have to be funny, but you have to use, what are you passionate about? What are your hobbies? Implement that into your business. There needs to be a personal side to your page. I really believe that because if it's all business, people they don't get to know you. That's one thing that video is awesome for. People feel like they know me before they call me, and they know because I swear, I do all that shit. So like people know right off the bat what they're getting, and what that's done for me is it's taken away the second and third appointment. When people call me, they
Mhm.
call me because they're using me. They're not feeling me out. They know exactly what they're getting, and that's why they call me. So, and as soon as I niche down in the marketing and I understand like the swearing's not for everyone and all that shit, but like that's just that's just how I am, right? And,
Yeah.
and I know it could be seen as offensive. I didn't grow up that way, so it's never my intent to offend anyone or anything like that. But it's just how I am. So it wasn't a big deal implementing that into my business. And as soon as I niched down, my business got broader, which you would think it would be the opposite. The broader you market, the more,
Sure.
uh, the more business you'd get. But the broader you market, you're just like everyone else. So as soon as you niche down, you get those people. Okay, I'm not going to get all these people because they hate that I swear and they'll never use me. And that's fine. But I'm going to get all these people who like it. They're pretty much coming to me because, and now I get messages like, hey, we want someone to come price our house. We don't think you're going to like come and be all salesy to us. You seem genuine. And we just want someone who's not going to bullshit us, tell us what it's worth and not tell us what we want to hear. And that's the type of messages I get now. So it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you have an assistant that's going through qualifications for you, although it's just evergreen content and it lives on the internet. It's incredibly powerful. I think business is changing, right? Dramatically. People still do the lead ads and everything else too, but there's a very big difference between, an online lead that doesn't know you, that's just going to ask you to sell the house for as cheap as possible. And they don't necessarily care about you as a human being. And somebody else who like has a transaction they have to complete, you don't need them, they don't need you, but you're technically better together. And when you're done the transaction, you're going to go hang out in downtown Durham and have a relationship over and beyond. I think that's the ideal clients that you and I both want, right? And the
Yeah,
types of people that you want to jam with in the industry.
totally. And like, some people I won't even work with. Like,
Yeah.
I'm at a point now where like I've learned my lesson. It's like you can tell right off right off the bat, like this isn't gonna go well. Like this
Mhm.
isn't my type, and I don't have to. And that's how I approach my listings, my buyers. Like, look, I don't, I don't. I want to help you. This isn't like I don't need to do this. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not like praying for your listing to because I need that money from that listing. You know what I mean? Like it would be great, and it'd be incredible. I'm not saying like I'm some rich asshole, but like
Yeah.
it's just like I want to help you, and that's like how I go into everything. I think everyone should have that approach. If you go in with that desperation, they're gonna sense it. And
Oh,
so
dude,
that's yeah.
even having you here, and again, I get excited. That's why I jump into the convo. But when I got you on, we've been friends for a little bit and we're going back and forth online. If I had ill intent, I would have been thirsty about like, dude, share my page. I want to grow my page because of that. And I could care less, right? Like I
Yeah.
genuinely just want to talk to you because we run in similar circles. Same thing in your business, right? You're doing it, the money's a byproduct of the work that you do. And,
Right.
you really found a way to integrate something you love with a job, right? And
Yeah.
was that natural? Did that just come to you just by doing the work, or how do you think about that?
No, like I was told it I wasn't supposed to do it, and um that no one would take me seriously. So I didn't know what was going to come of it, but
Mm,
I knew that I fucking hated what I was doing before. I'm not the guy who's going to door knock all
mhm.
day or the guy who's going to cold call all day. Like I wanted to rip my face off, like it was just, and
I
I
can't
know
imagine.
people, no, I know people who do incredible business from door knocking, cold calling, but I was like, what? I was just getting drained. I was like, why is everything the same? How has this industry not progressed in so many years? Even like our paperwork, like the MLS data sheet,
Pretty
what
crazy.
the hell are we do? Like, let's have a facelift there, Jesus.
Not gonna happen, dude. I think we gotta succeed in spite of the system.
Yeah.
It's the user interface of the
Yeah.
MLS system. I mean, let's not go
It's
down that one hole
insane.
here for
Oh,
fun.
I know. It's insane. So like I was like, how can I make this a little more fun? And like it was so dry. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this. And like I said before, it's people are either gonna like it or they're gonna hate it. And that's the risk I'm gonna take because when I knew I wanted to implement comedy, I didn't want it to be that cookie cutter real estate comedy that you always see the same jokes over and over. Like I wanted it to really have some substance and try and, relate to a lot of people and do the funny because it's true because I'm living through what everyone else is living through. And, I'd love to be a page that you can come to at the end of the day and just kind of like be like, oh, yeah, I went through that. And I wish I could say that. I like to say the things that everyone wants to say, but, they don't want to be seen as unprofessional. So I'll be seen as unprofessional for them.
Can you do an episode on doing an inspection with a couple that's not yet married and gonna get married? Both the dads show up and they haven't met yet.
Oh, great. Yeah. That's your deal's done. It's
Yeah.
over.
Good luck with that. Yeah. We actually got one done in a situation like that too. So it's all good.
Okay.
Uh,
That's good then.
Yeah, no, it's, again, the narrative, and I love that you're just saying it. And I really hope the audience is picking up on this because people are so scared to be themselves. I probably had this conversation a million times with a million different people about content creation and just putting yourself out there online. They're so worried people are going to judge them when in reality, most people don't really care. Everybody's busy in their own world. They're not really going to spend that much time analyzing what you're doing as much as you are. Like, how quick are you to shoot, like grip it and rip it, put it out there and move on to the next thing? Or do you spend a lot of time like scripting, like analyzing it? Like, what is your actual like ideation to shooting to
Yeah.
distribution look like? Because I know like YouTube with tagging and titles, that's a pretty deep wormhole you can spend a lot of time in, right?
Right. Yeah. No, my main focus is Instagram. I'm trying to kind of get into more platforms this year. But, the scripting is important. I really want the content to be good. Um, but once I have the idea, like I try and jump on it when it's fresh. That's when you're going to get your best work, is when it's fresh, when you're excited about it. So, I have like a list of ideas that I want to do. Then I have another list of like one liners that I think's funny just as I'm going through my day. Um, and then, yeah, I just put it out. My wife films most of the videos. My wife is the voice in all the videos. So it's like a fun, like we like doing it. I run things past her because she'll tell me like that's shit or that's good because, sometimes you have so many ideas. She'll be like, no, that's not good. So, and then I just pump it out. Like you can't think exactly what you said. No one cares. no one cares. That's why I think it's funny, like with the whole like luxury side of things, like everyone just takes pictures of their paperwork beside their luxury car steering wheel, and the logo is always very conveniently in the photo as well. It's like no no one cares, you know, and I think that's actually more like stuff like that could actually be more harmful than what say I would do, because I feel that is very unrelatable to like a first time home buyer or someone who's really struggling to get that down payment, and you're flashing all this stuff. We're in a very fortunate position to have this career, especially if you're really doing deals. And I just think flaunting it all the time is the wrong way to go. Now, I don't mean like it, your success is great, and I think you should reward yourself. Um, but just maybe calm down a little bit on some of the things.
Well, I think it speaks to authenticity, going back to what we were saying earlier. My opinion of that is the people that they're trying to impress and get as clients, typically, if you actually have it, you don't act like it. The only people that I've seen that actually do that kind of stuff are people that are leasing the car, don't typically have it. They're trying to get up to a new bracket. But in my opinion, you're bang on. I actually think they're hurting themselves more than they're helping themselves. Cause again, it's thirsty. It just sounds like, hey, look what I'm doing because, I'm like you, right? And they're trying to get in with that crowd. The other thing is talking about like Reels and Instagram and TikTok. There's this massive rush right now where people are saying, oh my gosh, Instagram's going after TikTok. I got to get on Reels.
Yeah.
They're putting out Reels that do not speak to who they are. I can't dance like people do on TikTok. I can dance back in the day and cut a rug, but now it's just not me, truthfully, right? Like it's not my personality. So why am I just going to do that and sell myself out? And I do find I see people doing it and I lose trust in them because
Oh yeah.
it's not who they are consistently, right?
You can see it, that if you're when you're doing video, you have to be 100% committed and genuine, or you will see it immediately. I see all these people pointing and they're doing this fake smile, and
Oh,
it's
dude.
like they look like they're hurt. They look like they're hurt when they're doing it. And I'm like, dude, this isn't, you need to figure out a different way, because like this is borderline cringe, to
Well,
watch.
can I do like the tongue on the teeth thing? Like where did that become a real
Oh,
thing where all of a
geez.
sudden it's like a facial expression that makes you like an influencer and you see people doing it that have never done it in the last 20 years that you knew them. So I
Yeah.
think that's a pretty
It's
crazy thing that's happening in today's day and age.
Yeah, it's just a lot of, and I do like definitely pull inspiration, like we were saying before,
Yeah.
but find your own lane. Like I have people now who are like, I was talking about this to Eric, the broke agent, the other day. They're word for word taking my scripts and
Yeah.
redoing them.
Crazy.
I'm like, that's just right there. Like that's not you.
No.
Clearly, because I wrote it, like so and then they don't even credit me. And it's hilarious watching their comments, because they're like, how do you think of this stuff? They're like, oh, we have like a marketing team, we work long and hard. I'm like, dude, this is my exact script. Like it's not even like pulled a line, like word for word. So
I'm not surprised. I mean,
funny.
imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. I remember when I was doing listing videos on my properties early on, my videographer called me because they're very well known in our market. He's like, hey, this agent, this agent, this agent just sent me your videos and they want the same product. He asked me,
Yeah,
is, are you okay if I sell it to them? And I was like, yeah, 100%. Like, just from that standpoint, like it's going to be what it's going to be in his position. But we actually built a production team here internally because I wanted a little bit of control over what we were doing. Like the vlog I was telling you we're working on now, that's something I don't think anybody in our market's doing right now. So I want to stay a step ahead. But I've been down that wormhole before where I'm like, oh, literally like opening shot, intro, line, like the entire
yeah,
structure of it is very similar. It's hard to not get ornery about it. But at the same time, I've learned to be like, hey, I guess I'm doing something right if they're chasing that. So it's staying 2 or 3 steps ahead. And the one thing about
totally.
nobody can replicate is that authenticity. And I know the stuff you're working on now is probably like years ahead of what you've been putting out, right?
Yeah, I always try and up the game. So I have a lot more stuff with like videographers this year, and I have a team that I work with now, and yeah, some really fun content coming the next couple months. But yeah, I totally agree. You can't, at the end of the day, one thing they can't be is you. So as long as you bring that energy, like your energy can't be replicated. And it shows. You can tell, you can almost tell without even seeing the original video, like, oh, this is weird. Like this doesn't seem like it's theirs.
Yeah.
Like you can almost just tell right away.
Well,
So
same thing with podcasts and interactions online. It's you hear people in conversations and they're leading you down a funnel, right? Like the amount of people that I've talked to recently that are like, "Hey, I got a referral for you," and the next thing I know, they're like, "We're moving to Canada and we want to partner with you," and it's like a pitch for EXP, and I'm just no, like it doesn't work like that, right? You can
yeah,
tell there's a bit of a disconnect. Nothing wrong with EXP. You're all wonderful, whatever, but
no, yeah,
we're
it's
not
fine.
for sale, right? It's the same thing in your world where you can tell there's a lot of authenticity that comes from your content. Eric as well. Like I've known Eric not personally, but I've been interacting with him, and we go back and forth on stuff for what, like 6 years, 6, 7 years since he started the account. He is who he is, and he's been consistently who he is,
Yeah,
regardless of the haters and the trolls and all the other stuff too. So
yeah.
like, huge kudos to you. I want to get you out of here in 5 minutes and wrap this up because I want to be super respectful of your time. We're going to do a lightning round of questions because I want some answers. This is why I do this. I feel like I'd shoot them and we'd be having this phone conversation anyway. So why not share it with the people?
Yeah.
Over ask, where did the name come for the podcast?
Well, Eric would say that he made the name up, but I, in fact, made the name up because he's terrible with making names. So he said no contingencies. I said conditional on finance. And then I said over ask. And he said, oh, that's good because, like, you're asking questions. And I was like, yeah, it's fucking sick. And then it came about in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We don't think about really anything.
That's amazing. What's next for you? What are you working on now and challenging yourself with, whether it be like going on YouTube or getting out of the Instagram box? Like what's obsessing your mind right now?
Yeah. So the first thing is, just creating more than just the Instagram. That's what the podcast is hopefully going to do, branching out. So it's not just like you're some dude on Instagram anymore, like have a bit more substance to what we're doing. So the podcast, and then, I'm going to try and do right now with COVID. It's hard because I have a bunch of bigger scripts that need like a lot of people and stuff like that. So we're waiting on those because I don't, we're not going to go test everyone and do all that. Like, so we're just going to wait until it's a little more clear because we don't want to break the rules or put anyone in danger or whatever. So a lot of cool scripts coming. That's going to be more long form YouTube, and just a lot of what I've been doing. I want to grow what I'm doing now. Another thing this has done has got a lot of great agent referrals from all around the States and different parts of Canada. So that's been a cool thing because when I started this, it was just pretty much a joke. And then once I saw, okay, something could be done here, I just kind of was, seeing where I could bring it. And I've been navigating it the whole time. So just trying to create the best content I can.
So what's one of the hardest lessons you learned from failure in your life?
Um, I don't like, that's a good question. I've never been asked that one. You've stumped
You're a pretty
me.
positive guy, right? I'm kind of the same way where I look at everything with rose-colored glasses. So
Well, it's hard because like something will happen and I'll just be like, okay, like the good thing about failing, and I've failed a bunch of times in this business because like you do a bunch of, it's like one wrong word on a contract and it could mean a whole different thing.
sure.
And I've had that where, I was supposed to put some appliances as is
Yep.
and I didn't. And then I fucking bought a fridge,
I think
I didn't want a fridge, but I bought a fridge. So, and, but you're damn well sure I've never done that again,
Sure.
I'm never
Yep.
buying another fridge unless it's for me. And it's going to be a good fridge, So, so, I mean, I just always take, whatever happens. You can't dwell on it. You really can't dwell on it or it's just not good. So I just do it. Okay. Yeah. I messed up here. How can I do it better? This won't happen again. And I keep going on my day.
Yeah. And I think that's the crux of the question, right? Is you just hit the nail on the head. You don't dwell on it. You don't obsess about it and think, oh my gosh, all these people are concerned about the fridge incident. And oh my gosh, I got to stop what I'm doing. And you spend your whole day doing it. You just move on with your day and go on to something that you can control and keep moving the ball forward. So
And just
I,
own it. Just
yeah,
own it too.
sure.
Like when
Go.
that happened, they were like, oh, like my clients, I was newer. I was like about a year in, and they're like, oh my God. I was like, you know what? This is my mistake. I'm gonna pay for the fridge. They're like, oh, that's incredible. And I got a great review from them. Like they'll use me again. That's it. Not like, oh, you said no, you said it was a good fridge. You know, that's not gonna get you anywhere.
No, the blame game. My father-in-law taught me that lesson a long time ago. He said every problem is an opportunity, right? Just show them why you're better. And it's the end of the day, you stand by your client when they need the help. They'll stand by you
Yeah.
forever. So, that said, I want to move the ball forward for you guys. Where can people come and find you? How can they connect with you? And, what's a message you'd like to put out there in the world if you could?
Yeah. So, I mean, just find me on Instagram, Matt.Lionetti, and then Over Ask Podcast. Also, you can follow Broke Agent if you all probably do already. And just what we've been saying the whole time. I mean, go for it. If you're thinking of doing something, stop thinking about it and just do it. And when you're posting to social, because everyone always keep asking, how do you grow your social? How do you grow your social? You have to post with intent. Post with intent, and that will grow. You need to think about what you're doing, because if you post 17 pictures of pumpkin spice lattes, that's not going to grow your Instagram. But if you post, you're going to say, okay, I post 3 times a week. It's going to be an inspirational post, and it's going to be a fun post, and it's going to be a market update post. And see how you can bring value, see how you can entertain. Not every post needs to bring value. Not every post needs to entertain. Figure out your balance and go from there. So post with intent.
And break the pattern like Matt Lionetti. Every time I
Yeah.
pop up on my Instagram, you break whatever pattern I'm in and I pay attention. So I'll keep supporting you guys and spreading the good word, man. I'm happy and see what's up to
Appreciate it, man. Thank
All
you
right.
so much, dude.
See you, brother. Take care.
Thanks, man.
Okay. Bye.